want to wine on you, show you what this waistline do all sorts of things to you. I wanna make you my boo. Now I want to wine on you, show you what this body do. Put this body. What is up, you beautiful people? It is Dee. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. As you guys can see, today I'm going to be showing you guys how I DIY'd this beautiful Rihanna inspired dress. I would like to apologize for the lighting. Unfortunately, I didn't shoot at the right time, but I was so excited I couldn't wait. So the first thing that you're going to need is some ribbed fabric, preferably one that doesn't frail when you cut it, a bodycon dress, preferably one with sleeves, some matching thread, pins, scissors, and a marker. So step number 1, you are going to fold your fabric right sides facing each other so that when you are tracing and you are marking out on the fabric, it's not on the right side. Then I went ahead and I also folded my dress in half, and this is the front that we are going to be tracing out. So I start tracing literally underneath the arm, which is very important that you do that. That's why I'm saying you need one with at least a, but if you have like a halter neck dress, bodycon dress, then you don't need to do all of this. So as you guys can see, I also start marking out my neckline for the front section of my dress, and I also go ahead and I mark out a little bit of the shoulder. So now that I'm done doing that, I'm going to be able to now change the arm sky of my dress, because now I no longer need sleeves. So I'm trying to make that nice V. I don't even know what to call this at this point, but yeah, I'm just tracing out the new shape of my dress, especially at the top section, to create the halter neck. I did also went ahead and I did raise my neckline about 4 to 5 centimeters because I wanted it to be a high neck. Now I also went ahead and I put my dress again, because this dress is actually knee length. Now I want my dress to be slightly way past the knee, and I went ahead and I cut it. But before I actually get into the section of cutting it, while we're still cutting, I also want to state that for the neckline at the back, what I did was I actually placed my dress, the back of my dress, towards the neckline of the front of my traced out dress, that way so I can create a back piece so that it's one piece, instead of having to cut a back and attaching the back neckline to the front neckline. Am I making sense? Because I feel like I'm kind of not making sense. But now I actually take the cut out front section of my dress and I place it on my fabric so that I can cut out the back piece. Am I making sense? I don't think I'm making sense. Unfortunately, I didn't realize when I was recording this that my camera was not placed accordingly. I thought it was because I didn't move it, but unfortunately it wasn't. So I would like to sincerely apologize. But you will see also in the video like how I went about, kind of like doing the dress. But you'll see how I opened it. You'll just see. Done the pattern. I just want to just kind of grab your attention really quickly as to what I'm doing, because I find that a lot of you guys, you DM me and you text me and stuff like that, and which I honestly don't mind. I really don't mind, because my phone is never really busy unless it's YouTube. But I just wanted to just talk about this one more time. And guys, I'm not trying to be harsh or anything, but I do think this is going to be the last time that I speak about this, because I'm beginning to sound like a broken radio. So whenever I start a new project, right, I always tend to put my tension dial on 0. And I always state this even in the comment section whenever somebody asks me like, oh, my thread is not catching, the upper thread is not catching the bottom thread, or whatever, or the bottom thread is doing funny things.
always put it on 0, always. And one thing I have to state also in this video is that, guys, please don't be afraid to play with your machine. You know, I'm not saying break it, I'm not saying open it and, you know, break it and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, like, don't be afraid to literally play around with this, to play around with this, to play around with the bobbin, because you'll find out that with each fabric, right, depending on how thick or thin it is, also depending on like if it's stretchy or not, you might have to change certain things. Like you might have to use maybe a different stitch, maybe a anyways, back to what I was saying. You might find that you need to just kind of play around with your fabric. So for instance, now we are sewing a ribbed fabric, and in this particular direction because I'm following the lines of my ribbed. Now, as you know, ribbed fabric is really, see, this fabric is quite stretchy, and you're usually told, at least this is what I see with other designers on YouTube, other fashionistas, other DIY, designers, they tend to sew stretch fabric in the zigzag stitch. Now, I don't particularly like that, and one reasons why that I can get away with not using a zigzag stitch is because I actually have an overlocker. But if you don't have an overlocker and you are working with stretch fabric, most people, even my lecturers, say that it's preferred that you use a zigzag stitch, because apparently the straight stitches doesn't actually catch everything. I'm yet to experience it. I've experienced it a lot with you know, stretch fabrics when I'm working at campus with the industrial sewing machines, but I figured with the domestic ones, they're a bit more acceptable. So let's start with just putting it in there. So remember, my tension dial is still on 0, so I'm gonna go in and just, and then I'm gonna put it on 1, and then I'm gonna put it on 2. Also, I just want to state that I am using a universal needle, which is this. It is a size 11. Yeah, it's this. It's a size 11. I could be using the stretch, which is a size 14, but I don't know why I'm not using a stretch. I guess I'm too lazy to change my needles. But also another thing that is very important, it's very important for you guys to know which needle you used to use for which fabric. So the universal, I actually bought this one so I could use I could sew some organza. That's a new project that's coming up soon, look out for it. And then this one, I always have it. I do like to use it also when I'm sewing like satin, although for a satin I think a size 10 needle is the perfect one. Size 10 or size 8, I'm not sure, but yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and continue sewing. Okay, so we got it on a we got it on tension 2. Now let's go to tension 3. Let's just do that, and always make sure that you're using 2 layers of fabric each time you're testing out your tension, because obviously that is the tension, that is the layers, the amount of layers that you're going to be using when you're sewing your final project. So yeah, this was supposed to be a DIY, but now I'm teaching you guys about sewing once again. Okay, now we're on 4. This is the standard one. 4 and 5 are usually your standard tensions, your tension level. But yeah, so I think it's gonna work. Okay, now let's look at it and let's see. But it seems like it's giving what it needs to give. So I don't know if you guys can see here. Oh wow, why am I holding it so far? But for me, I don't see any skip on the thingy. So this is the weak side. This is from 0 to 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the 4 is, it seems to be holding up very well, but like I said, I am going to go ahead and use my overlocker. So let's just get started with the actual sewing of this dress, okay? I'm so excited. I'm going to wear it tomorrow. I'm going to look cute. I'm going to do the doing things. Your girl is dedicated to actually sewing a lot of her items this year, because I do think at my age of 22, it is time for me to embrace my own style and not be afraid to experiment with clothing, because like, what the hell? I'm studying fashion and yet I have no evidence that shows that I'm studying fashion apart from these videos. Honey, it's giving ghetto-ness. It's giving depression. So let's get into it. bits to go. I'm gonna just, I wanna get, this is my hip, right? Going. I think this is fine. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, so now I need to make sure that I have the same length of the side slits. So this is what we're gonna do. Just gonna fold. Just gonna fold it. And then we're gonna mark it on. Okay. So this is where I'm gonna there's a lot that's happening that I don't like. Number one. So I'm thinking we should just kind of like lift this here. But my question is like, you see how the back is like sitting now? I don't mind the sides anymore, but there's just a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. So I don't know though. It's kind of like, it's kind of giving, but it's kind of not. I feel like, hold up, let me just take some pins quickly. Okay, I'm gonna pin the back just a bit. Okay, see, now we've got my back, my front sitting a little bit cute. It's sitting a little bit cute. Now we must let go of these bad babies. So thing is, even if I do try and like make it, you know, a bit tighter on the sides, it's still, it's a, oh, see, now my boobs are like looking like a struggle. There's just a lot going on. I don't know yet. Wait, let me just look in the mirror quickly. Oh no. Because even if I try to bring it, okay. Okay. Let's edit. Let's tweak. Something wasn't right. I mean, apart from this weird thing that it's doing here, I love it. I love the fit. It's kind of giving me what it needs to give, do you see? And also I like the fact that I don't have to sew this section, so I'm only going to just kind of overlock my inner seams. I'm gonna overlock my seams, tidy up my dress, and that is it. Like, literally, guys, no, this is a look, hey? Like, this is a look. No, like, this is a look. Like, oh my god, I I've been eyeing this dress for the longest time, and I just feel like, oh, I'm gonna show you the final product.